no, that's super. For me personally, aside from, the song that you guys use at the opening and Hrithik being there, it was that tape recorder, the
Yeah.
very first shot. That was it. Like it just pulls you. Like all the people who are gonna watch this series are the ones that are from the '80s and grown up in
Yes.
the '80s and '90s. So that's a
Yeah.
pull. For me, it
Yeah.
was very intensively. Nothing
Yeah.
against Hrithik or his grandfather, but I was
Yeah.
sucked in right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. What was the most from an editing standpoint, right? Like, we talked about your disagreement with the director, Shashi. Um, what was the most challenging part or top three challenging part in the entire series that you had to sort of spend a lot of time on as opposed to everything else? Aside from like, going through the interviews, which is itself very time consuming, just the editing part itself.
I think it was, I think the toughest episode for me was episode 3,
Mm,
which was Rakesh Ji's episode, because there were so many things that were there, so many of his facets that, he started off as an actor, then that didn't work out, and then he moved to
producer.
direction. That didn't take, yeah. So many of his career graphs and things were moving parallelly. So structuring that was hard. Um, that was the toughest thing. And the other thing also in such a series is that how do you not make it monotonous? Where there is a bite and then there's a song and then there's a bite and then there's a song.
Yeah.
So how do you break that pattern? Um, of course, sometimes that's what it is, right? So someone's talking about a song and analyzing it or talking about the lyrics or how, or like when Javed Saab talks about, in the first episode, where he talks about his minimal music. And so, I mean, it's going to be that. But what can you do to, break that pattern and things? So just ideating on that, that was something that we had to work on. That what is it that we can do? Um, Otherwise, I mean, largely it was just structuring was something that not a struggle, but just had to put some your heads together and say, okay, how do we make this engaging and how do we tell the story in the best way? The fourth episode also was tricky because it wasn't fully Rithik, it wasn't fully Rakesh ji.
Yeah.
It was them father son. It was them as director and actor, him becoming a superstar, keeping that balance, plus, Rakesh ji's whole ill health and his medical things. And so that was also, it was just a lot of things to put in. And how do you construct it into a story
Yeah.
that's engaging? So I think that was the challenge. And um, yeah, but I just followed my way of working that I always do, and you just arrive at it. So yeah.
What about the reenactment parts? When did that come about, and what were your thoughts about it when was that already decided when you came on board?
Yeah, yeah, it was already shot.
Oh, it was already shot.
Yeah, yeah. So they
What,
had shot most of it. Like I said, there were only a couple of interviews that they did once after I joined, but
right.
everything was shot largely. So okay. What did you feel about it?
The beginning when it was when I start seeing it in the very beginning, I'm not a fan of reenactments, just being
Mm.
upfront in
Mhm.
general, nothing to do with
Okay.
this film,
Oh.
right? I was kind of taken out.
Mm.
But then I was pulled back in. But I think the part where I was really taken out with the reenactment because you're trying to show an era when there was no movement of drone shots or steady cams. And there was the sequence I think where they were sitting by the water with the
Yeah.
harmonium and
Yeah.
the camera was moving like
Yeah.
really, really. That took me out because that
Doesn't
wasn't
belong.
there in yeah, right. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I mean, I was pretty much there, but I think that particularly took me out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I had discussed this also with Shashi, but I think they had shot it already. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that is something which people have commented on also largely that did we need it at all? But that you can argue, but that's also a choice that the director
Yeah,
has
yeah, of course. It
used to do it.
worked. Believe me, it worked at the end. I'm just speaking in
Yeah, yeah,
general,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, how you choose to do it is up to you. Now,
yeah.
whether you want to do it in a slightly subtle way where it's, more silhouettes and you don't show faces and it's so it's taking you back in that time, but you're not really seeing close-ups and that kind of thing. But it was I mean I didn't have much control over that.
Oh
So
no, no. I'm not trying to be
no, but
critical. I'm
somewhere
just
I
giving my
feel that
opinion.
if you're yeah, it does stand out, but if you're sort of invested in the story, then you just take it in and